Welcome to the first dancing march of 2025 with yours truly, Rainbow Dragon artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical, analyst, and theorist. And for the first time wearing these shoes, secondhand, somebody gifted me, auctioning them for a million after I march. Today, first time I'm marching, the first march to the mountain we go. It's a bit on the chilly side, but got the hoodie, so got those rock and roll, and I got the hoodie on, auctioning the hoodie, and I think I lost the glove, but I got a pair, one to pair it, and another one. I got the gloves, so I got to put on those gloves, because it's on that. Not that hot, it's actually on the bit chilly side with the wind, so with the wind factor, I guess it's a bit on the chillier side, so I think I should have worn a little bit of undergarment underneath, but we'll be okay because we're on the march. So I just got the hoodie, I got this, and then I got the blue jacket, so it's not that warm. I was expecting it, of course, to be a bit less cold, but nonetheless, just gonna drop something here for the garbage, and we're gonna go all the way to the mountain. I'm not gonna take the bus, of course, but we'll of course proceed in dropping where I need to be dropped there. So that's it, that's all for that. Let's go for the rock and roll, and we go out west. I was gonna go towards the sun because I established the protocol that if I'm not gonna get to the mountain by 3 o'clock, I'm gonna turn the other way, but now it seems that we'll be fine. So here, from my neighborhood, NDG was the price of gas. It's cloudy anyway, so I'm gonna go all the way to the mountain. I do have to put those gloves. I think I lost one glove. I will be okay in terms of I think we'll be okay. We'll need a lot of basically on the cold side, but I'm gonna go in double trouble anyway. So grateful, thankful for my rent paid, electricity bills paid, and the gloves. And speaking of this glove, which I got for New Year's, great gift. And providentially it has, the little pyramid with the, 3 mountain peaks, just like Mount Royal, my second home, Mount Royal here in Hakala, Montreal. You can see the triangle, and thus you can see inside the triangle, it's actually a pyramid shape, and inside the pyramid shape, it's three mountain-like, and the mountain here, mountain system, Mount Royal has 3 mountains where I go to my second home, like Mount Royal across in the center between the east and the west, right in the middle between the east and the west, in Montreal, Hawk Island, where yours truly is that reside. And here we're gonna go like a snake a little bit, so we're gonna commence with the gratitude because I couldn't find the other gloves, so maybe I dropped it on my long marches before the New Year. Third is the 2nd of January, so grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and we go all the way to the mountain, always gonna meditate, send some LOV to the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, firefighters, and those delivering, those nurses, those in the daycare changing some diapers, I see a youth there playing some of that basketball. Good for you, keep it up, keep physical activity, workout, train, exercise, super important to workout, train, exercise, like keeping on these new shoes, and auctioning the blue I got from my anonymous friend, thank you. Great blue jacket from my anonymous friend, great blue. I love the blue like the sky, so my anonymous friend, whom if I make a million, a trillion, a billion, I'm gonna give that 50%. It's the first marching rock and roll dance of 2025. I think in 2024 last year, I completed, of course, more than 225 marches, not only to the mountain, but most of them were 66, 2/3% were to the mountain, my second home, where we're now gonna go to my second home because I was gonna go towards the sun, but seems like there's no sunset really. There's sunset, of course, but seems like the sun's covered unless we see the clearing and then we change our mind and head north or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we gotta freestyle, but I think I'm just gonna go to the mountain top and back, and that's gonna be for more than 4 hours march on this first march on the it's Thursday, the second day of January, back in business, and This is my work. Always with gratitude, always rock and roll, my rock and roll marching dances. And of course, I'm an independent artist, athlete, philosopher, financially stressed, but my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and I got some sweets. I got a chocolate bar, which is gonna be my treat when I go back home, you know. I'm excited to actually try some of it, because first time I didn't have blonde chocolate bar, so I gave a third to my anonymous friend, you know. Tasted it, said it's good, but I'm gonna have to make my own opinion, I guess, in terms of that. Cause you know, I LOV sweets, auctioning this black and white hat, and auctioning for $1 million a bin, and these shoes I'm gonna be putting them for auction. Once I get it from the mountain on top, I'm coming back. I guess let me march 3 times in them today, tomorrow, Saturday. This is the first time, and I gotta give a shout out to the white and red. I gotta give a shout out for my anonymous friend there, where I see a little bit of our senior citizen who saw me a few weeks ago and said, hey, this is an early Christmas gift for you. So I said, hey, it's just financially stressed, you know, $10,000 in debt, but here it is, January. I paid my rent, and got my underground room off Sun Temple there, Dragons there, so I can apply for jobs, positions, and rock and roll. Always thinking about the truckers, LOV to the firefighters, always LOV meditating geopolitics as I go on the marches, you know. I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst, interiorist, aspie, artist, athlete, and philosopher who encourages all to work out, train, exercise, you know. I encourage all to work out, train, exercise. I LOV fitness, obsessed. Well, it's not really an obsessive interest as many say, but people with Asperger's like myself who have HFA, high functioning autisms, you know, HFAs, I'm an aspie, so I got special interests, and those interests preoccupy my daily ritual habits and routines of daily activities, and where I'm immersed in them, I'm really focused and intense. And right now, of course, geopolitics in my mind, analyzing the news of the morning, of yesterday, of last night, for the past year, for the past decades, for the past 5 years, especially since I marked 5 years. Of course, I marked in last year in October, November 2024 has been a marking. Of course, I marked, of course, 5 years since I predicted an international conflagration, since I predicted an international conflagration, since I predicted an international conflagration, you know, since I predicted an international conflagration, and that's what I predicted back in 2019 in October. So I'm just gonna go drop something here. See, for the fridge, I gotta give a shout out. Thank you to the anonymous donator who I had for years. I had a cake. I had to share it with my anonymous friend, and I had a cake, and sometimes I donate these back here, and put them there, you know, because people take them, so it's always here for the donation for the food, and I'm always grateful. See, there's something, if you want lentils, you can take some lentils. I'm gonna put them back because I got lentils at home, but thank you for those food security, the food security starts with the farmers, you know. Gotta salute the farmers, the truckers, and here we got a fridge, you know. We got a fridge. Please don't food waste, And you can check there's food there, so you can take some soup, you can take some whatever case may be, and see, you got plenty of food. You got food if you want here. Thank you for the food. I got food at home now, but I'm just gonna check those tortillas. This is really good. I tried it last time. This I already tried. I see the bread is kind of big, but I'm not gonna take the big bread. I'm just gonna check the tortillas. They have to be used, so if I take one, it has to be used. So let me check the tortillas. December 26, best before. I guess if I take the tortillas, they have to be eaten. I have to eat them by tonight. I have to eat them by tonight. So there we go. We got that. I'm gonna take one package, and that's what it is with that. And there we go. So that's for this fridge. We got the tortillas. I guess it's gonna be my reward. I'm gonna make them with something. I'm gonna make, or whatever case may be, with something when I get back. So that's it. That's all for that. So that's a fridge there in the community, you know, LDG Montreal, and I gotta salute those who give, you know, the donations. And it starts with the farmers and the food producers, and this one is product of the USA. Sometimes, you know, one of the characteristics due to Asperger's, which is not a mental illness, it is also known as HFA, high functioning autism. When I go in the store, I take the objects and I inspect them close, and I look really close, and I know that's a weird behavior, because that's Aspie behavior, where Aspies, people with Asperger's and HFA, we're not too well. We don't do too well in the social spheres and social rules and social norms and the etiquette of society and normal, the normal behavior in society. We kind of don't get it too much, where it's hard for Aspies like myself and HFA, and I've been working on it since I've accepted that I am neurodivergent with Asperger's and HFA, high functioning autism. So we have to be told, and sometimes we say things directly or in certain ways that we offend, but we don't mean to offend. It's just that we just don't get certain situations, certain social interactions, certain of those social dimensions. But we are good. Usually we're very good in what people call, or doctors call, philosophers or obsessive interest. But for us Aspies, it's not really an obsessive interest. It's just that our psyche, our mental energies are super intense, super focused when we're involved in those activities. Whatever whatever those activities are. For myself, of course, is the Holy Trinity. With Asperger's, HFA is my geopolitics, the analysis, the theorizing 24/7 is geopolitics 24/7. Sports, dancing, sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport activity. 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 And of course, parallel is that rock and roll. I always rock and roll. For the bus drivers, the public workers, changing up so Acte. You know that I swing those hips and you can see it. So now I'm joyous. I already feel good when I go out, to work out. And I'm glad I saw the fridge kind of full, I'm hoping people will take and don't try not to waste. And we got to clean that fridge because it's coming, it's like there for all of us, Which is not just for myself, it's for all of us there to take and to manage it, Manage it jointly, just like I have to manage my own characteristics, because some people say symptoms, but it's not really symptoms. It's more characteristics, of Asperger's, of HFA. It's not really a symptom, because a symptom is more for a mental illness or for an illness, but in Asperger's is not an illness per se. Yes, in certain things I am myself less able. In certain things I am myself less capable. In certain things I am myself less adequate. I am mediocre, average, and so certain things. Now when it comes to geopolitics, I'm definitely not dancing. I'm being part of the LGBTQ community, the neurodivergent minority community with Asperger's, and pansexual, androgynous, and of course I am good at rock and roll because it's my special interest. Well, arts, the art world, artistic world in general, but rock and roll specifically, and I always rock and roll for the grocery store clerks, warehouse workers, bus drivers, all those who made less than 50,000 in 50,000 US, let's say, because we got US dollar, Canadian dollar. This Quebecer Canadian North American who's challenging Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian US border since 2018 now. That was the first. Since the first imposition of tariffs by the Trump administration on Canadian aluminum and steel of 10%, that's when really I entered politics. Before that, I wasn't really into politics. But I was because of geopolitics, but I was more a neutral independent, because I was just coming out of my own depression and being suicidal. In 2017, when I crossed Canada coast to coast, that event spawned, triggered. I had to wake up. But of course, I had a wake-up call. And of course, that kind of reminded me and kind of had a revelation, Kind of had the revelation. And that revelation, of course, was that I have so much to do to see here across Canada, and Canadians, Quebecers, consider you my family, North Americans also, but I had a revelation. I was depressed, suicidal, and I said, of course, wow, so many things to do, so many things to see. 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast. In August, I went out west, British Columbia, out west. Now I'm going east. And I came back in September. I went to Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I crossed Canada coast to coast. And that event made me come out of being depressed and suicidal, because I said so many things to do, to see here in Canada, across the North American Collective complex. So many things to do. So I started working out, training, exercising in 2019. I predicted an international conflagration, and I created my own workout training program system, an efficient, effective, simple workout, of which I'm really proud to have created. I got to say that that is something that I take really a lot of pride in, because I created it myself, and I have myself made more. I have myself made more than 300, more than 300 workout training programs. You know, that's what I did. 372 more than I have successfully completed more than 372 programs. Completely successfully more than 372. 372. That's a lot. But I created it paradoxically to go hand in hand with enough of my face, and I created it to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario. With a World War III scenario. That's what I made it to go with, hand in hand. Paradoxically, that's what I concluded back in 2019, because that's what I do and did for years and years and years. I have proof online. My work is an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who's going to give a shout out to Hydro-Quebec. See, these are Hydro-Quebec, and thanks to Hydro-Quebec, workers of the past that built all those dams for us to have electricity. So much brains and muscle, so much labor. We build more than 63, we should build some more. It's energy that that does not pollute. Clean, efficient energy here from the hydropowers, the dams. Myself included, I'm utilizing this electricity now from the dam, the dam. Those dams, one of those dams are in combination, built over decades. All the electricity here in Quebec plus 5 or 6 states in the United States utilize that clean, zero pollution, zero emission energy, which I'm utilizing in this new smartphone to do this video, which is my work as a YouTuber. I got more than 400 views for a rock and roll song. I think I hit a record. And I just do because I love doing, and this is my work. Even if I don't get views or I'm always open for business. The business, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance. And I love to go to the mountain. That's my second home. I feel a sense of joy there, purpose. And of course, I presented my thesis back in 2023. My thesis is and was and will continue to deliver it in the coming days, weeks, months ahead. The privilege of civilization. Civilization is a privilege. The privilege of civilization. Civilization is a privilege. And yes, I'm financially stressed, $10,000 in debt, but I paid my rent and paid my electricity bill. Go Hydro-Quebec, go $73 Canadian. But I paid it for the month of January. Those are priorities. Pay the bills. Pay rent. I never, in the more than 7 years that I lived there, I never not paid rent. I always paid my rent, and I had jobs I liked, really liked. Especially during COVID with the seniors, but with Asperger's, HFA, there's a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of misunderstandings about what Asperger's is, HFA is, so that's what we gotta do it, so HFA and high-functioning autism, and I do not like violence. We can be intense, but our intensity is normal for people with Asperger's, because we don't use words like our obsessive interest. We just do, and we just involved in studying and learning and working like I'm doing in my special interest, which some people say obsessive. But when people say too intense, to this, to that, for us is not, we don't relate to that, because for us it's just how we are, just our being, our energies, our Asperger's, being Aspies. And thank you to my anonymous friend who gifted me the book, Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome. Appreciating Asperger's Syndrome. For many years, many people have diagnosed me, doctors and my anonymous friends and the few friends that I do have, not a lot. So you have HFA, high functioning autism, you have Asperger's, you're an Asperger. I said no, it's the stigma, it's something which is still less and less in the past years, and since 2009, 2010 early decade, it's more understood, and even 7 years ago, or more than 6 years ago, there's a documentary. Now I don't know about that, I have to rewatch it again. Supposedly it's actually, because there's a tiny percentage, but there's more and more. But now, as of today, I think people who, like myself with Asperger's, HFA, high functioning autistics, were about 0.44%. So less than 1%, less than a percentile, less than half of a percentage have my neurodivergent mental psychic condition, because it's not an illness per se, something you live with and you just manage it. But there's a documentary interesting says that it's a evolutionary step, that it is an evolutionary step step in evolution of mankind. That I don't know, I'm not willing to pronounce myself, because I don't know about evolution, because my own stress, scars and trauma and abuse, whatever the case may be. If I haven't lived, survived. No, I'm happy where I am. I'm content, and just financially stressed. And I just do. I just work. I put my initiatives, propositions on the table, my danciness, and just ask, and open for love. Black, white, men, women, open for love. Black, white, men, women, open for love. Black, white, rainbow, men and women. I am androgynous, pansexual. My sexuality is weird, and I wanted to discuss sexual healing and sexual liberation becoming today, maybe even today, tomorrow, coming days, weeks, months ahead, whatever the case may be, marching for it. I'm marching, I'm marking. I gotta watch it because there's children, so it's adult topics, so I don't want to discuss it now, so it's adult, so maybe I'm in the clear, because parents also, they have to have a certain say. Us, we have to have a say, the individual and the collective. Being a pro-liberal, love, revolutionary centrist, the individual and the collective. It's always tensions in the harmony, the individual and the collective. My individual liberty and security and hopefully prosperity, and I'm not totally selfless. I like Nutella, I like cream hazelnuts, and I like wafers, and I love wafer stuff like that. And can give pleasure to somebody, just ask. We ask because people think we don't have empathy or compassion. It's not that. It's that we, people with HFA, high functioning autism, Asperger's, we like to not console verbally. We just offer to do things. So for example, let's say you're my friend, and you go to the gym, and we meet up after you come to the gym. See, I'm so sore. My neck's killing me, my back's killing me, my neck. I'm kidding. I had a killer workout. And you would say, I wish I could afford a massage therapy session. And you would say, man, I'm so sore, but I cannot afford a massage therapy session. I would say, I'll massage you, don't worry about it. I'll give you a massage. How do you want? Just let me know, how do you want? Intensity like that, with the hands, with the feet, with the mouth. I'll do that for you. You're my friend, I could do that. I'll offer. Just ask me, ask me, no problem. Or I'll even offer. So that's something that's peculiar and aspy thing. Rather than say, I'm so sorry, bro, or sorry, sis, sorry, bro, or sorry, sis, sorry, bro, or sorry, sis, I would offer, rather than verbal consolation. So that's where the neurodivergence comes in, So we would offer something that would help, support in a practical way, pleasurable, practical way, whatever the case may be, or, whatever other adult services, rainbow style, whatever. Consent, hygiene, blah, blah, blah. Encouraging all to work out, try and exercise, and working out, trying and exercising has been his, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. And I gotta give a shout out to the truckers now, across Canada, United States, Mexico, and always sending some love. They're got those supply chains need to be filled, the warehouses, dock workers, to get us from the farms, from the production of the farming, and the food producers, the eggs, they gotta be transported, the eggs, the milk, the butter, the bread, bakers with it, gotta put those bakers in there, the bakers with it, gotta put those truckers with it, gotta put those public workers, if there's highways to be fixed, can't pass. I think civilization is a privilege, having aqueducts, running water. I took a shower, thank you, Hydro-Quebec, go. Always thinking about them, they're on the field now, and on the field, my brothers and sisters, the king is absent. The king is absent. The king is absent. It's time for the republic. It's time for the North American Union. It's time for the republic. It's time for the North American Union. It's time for the republic. You know, I'm financially stressed, but I got trillions of kisses created from the forgotten goddess. I got trillions of kisses. Trillions of kisses credited from the goddess GODDSS, and I will to build. And the Canadian-US border, let's build together. Construction workers, you know, admire construction workers who build the buildings. Who builds the buildings? Who builds the houses? Construction workers. We need to get that North American Collective Workers Party, that North American Collective Workers Party, that North American Collective Workers Party, you know. That's what I need to do. And see, I see my fellow citizen go for a jog, go, you know, invest in the body, and that's great. Gotta encourage each other, like my fellow citizen, go, go, go. That's what I love, and you know, I feel happy, I feel joyous when I see people working out, investing in their bodies, because my philosophy is the body is a temple for pleasure and purpose, and you know, I'm more cooperative, I guess, than competitive. If I would be to say, you know, I'm more on the cooperative side, although I'm a part of a tiny minority of neurodivergent with Asperger's, and I'm more for cooperation, but you also have to be careful because there's, you know, some abuse, you know, and abusing kindness and all that, you know. I don't like ingrates, you know. I like gratitude. I think gratitude is great for mental health, and I live with my scars on the face, on the body, even on more private parts, as I openly and have discussed it for years and years. I do have, of course, the LOV, you know, and I gotta get it on the Santa, and you know, gotta meditate on the Santa Claus to get it on the Santa Claus, and get it on the Santa Claus to get a little bit of charity, you know. I'm not totally selfless. I don't make pretense that I'm totally selfless. I would actually love to have a whole house, something bigger, you know. It would be great for my mental health, great for my mental health, you know. It'd be great for my mental health, you know. So that's the mental health. Gratitude is great for mental health. Gratitude, however, is great for mental health, but it's better than when I used to live. But you know, I would love to have a house and buy my anonymous friend a house, and my will, WILs, to build on the Canadian-US border the forgotten goddess GODDSS temple on the Canadian-US border, and build a North American People's Imperial Coliseum for sports activities. The North American People's Imperial Coliseum, my eyes. Or some dust in my eyes. Build a North American People's Imperial Coliseum to have activities. Please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, NBA, National Basketball Association, NHL, NFL, National Football League. You know, dancing is my favorite sport. But I love basketball, hockey. I love boxing, and I will to build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum parallel to the Forgotten Goddess Temple, and of course, and the Dragon, House of the Dragon, Scarlet, Crimson, Scarlet, Crimson, Pyramid. Scarlet, Crimson, 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 you know. That's how we got an LOV, you know, to do the Scarlet Crimson. That's how we need to do the Scarlet Crimson, the Scarlet Crimson. That's how we need to do, you know, the Scarlet Crimson, and that's what we need to do, you know, the Scarlet Crimson, you know. The scarlet and the crimson. That's what we need to do. The scarlet and crimson are actually shades of red. Shades of red. That's what it is. The scarlet and the crimson are shades of red. So the House of the Dragon, pyramid, you know. Pyramid, and that's what we need to do. I gotta give a little salutation, LOV, to the plumbers, you know. The plumbers, yeah. The plumbers. You know, the plumbers. That's what we need to be doing. With the plumbers, you know. The plumbers, the electricians, the bakers, the cooks, the warehouse workers. Let's go for that North American Collective Workers' Party, pro-labor love, revolutionary centrism. The public-private partnership, when I say support my dream, pledge your allegiance for the North American Union, have a common passport, common currency, for the North American Union to have a common passport, common currency, to have a common passport, common currency, common passport, common currency and common passport. To have for the North American Union, to have those, and to have the North American Collective Workers' Party, the PPP, and the Democratic Republic is a pro-labor and love revolutionary centrism. My dream is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership, for a public-private partnership, for a public-private partnership, a public-private partnership across what I call the great North American civilizational complex, the great North American civilizational complex, the North American complex, North America, across North America. And this Quebecer Canadian North American was born 3 times. Twice was born as a man, once as a woman. Post 70-76 in the USA, served twice in the same US Army. Different wars, 156 years apart, in the same army, in past previous incarnations, just like George Patton. I'm a mystic who believes in reincarnations, but sometimes I was born a man, sometimes a woman, sometimes a man and woman. You get that 50-50 now. You do get that 50-50, you know that. Androgynous rainbow dragon priestess, Hana. That 50-50. I'm 50-50. A man, woman, woman, man, you know. Get that androgynous, and in previous incarnations was born sometimes 50-50, sometimes a man, sometimes a woman, and I served in the United States Armed Forces post 1776 in 2 different wars. We need to play that defense like that hardball ball now. Quebec, Canada, North Americans unite, the true North, strong and free Canada. The king is absent, and the king is absent, huh? The king is absent. There's no, the king is absent. The king is absent. And to get that Democratic Republic, the North American Democratic Republic, the North American Democratic Republic, true North, strong and free, as we say in Canada. Latin. Motto is admire and mask you, Mario Maske. We need to go that coast to coast, coast to coast. We need to get that Republic, the North American Union, integrate for security. My new 911 North American integrated protocols based on several of my theoretical analysis and past of the passport in more than 7 years, and part of one document which I've written, of course, is the citizen integration, and we have to do a census, great North American census, a common passport, common currency by my DRT. So I'm going to discuss for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit, and that's the protocols and the directions on the 2nd of January. My work day, work, cleaned a bit, did a laundry. Thank you to my anonymous friend for the machine, the washer and the dryer, because I don't have to go all the way to spend money where I used to, and sometimes you need to get that, you know, cooperate, and sometimes we need to get cooperations, brains and muscle, and sometimes we just gotta do, you know, just gotta give brains and muscle, and we just gotta do. And I do, beginning the new cycle 2025, challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Have been since 2018, when Donald Trump first imposed tariffs on the Canadian aluminum and steel of 10%, tariffs on the Canadian aluminum and steel, tariffs of 10% on Canadian aluminum and steel, 10% in 2018. And now is the threat of 25%, which is a quarter of a percentage, which is a fourth of every dollar, 25 cents for every dollar. 25% is way more than 10%, and this time on all goods, ALL. So that's a no. We're a great family, big sister, big brother, little brother, big sister. We're a North American complex. We're a new emergent geopolitical complex, and we're an emergent civilizational complex. We're an emergent civilizational complex, you know. Yeah, we're an emergent geopolitical complex, you know. We're an emergent geopolitical complex. That's not totally divorced, but it's distinct from Western civilization. So as a philosopher, and my thesis and my theory about the North American civilizational complex, or the complex of North American civilization, and we constitute a collective emergent civilizational complex. North America is a civilizational complex, or a civilizational complex. A complex in the terms that it's united by the sort of a melting pot of several civilizations. It's not divorced from Western civilization, but it is distinct. It has distinct features from Western civilization. The North American civilizational complex, social, cultural, historical, even of course infrastructure-wise, you know, even in terms of the infrastructure, you know, we got to get it for the XYZ, and that's what it is. And we got sports, the NHL is also National Hockey League, of course, it's not national. The NHL is, of course, NHL is binational, NBA as well. So we got sports and culture, linguistic, you know, and historical and geographical. Coast to coast, we got that ocean. To the east is the Atlantic. To the west is the Pacific. 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 So here, as I go to the mountain, you know, always meditate, you know. Sometimes we have inside ourselves, you know, biases, inner biases, discriminations, and racism. You know, if I am to fight racism, you know, I do it with my ways to my black brothers and sisters, blacks, you know, who constitute 13.4% of the North American population, my neighbors included, are my black brothers and sisters. I put on the table what I put for everybody else. Kisses, because that's what I got the most. Kisses, hugs, and money. I'm broke, but you know, definitely to do business in an equal manner, to put what we have, or by some action, you know, by some action and LOV, and sometimes humor and understanding, because we cannot base all our interactions and civilization and strength. I totally understand, because I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted this situation that's unfolding now. I predicted it back in 2019, an international conflagration, aka World War III, due to several factors of confluent analysis on historical realities such as the Cold War. And of course, if I am to make a summary, is that I concluded that back in October 2019, I concluded that humanity is set on a course towards an international conflagration, aka World War III, Well, due to the fact that many civilizations, nation states, and regions were not able to resolve fully their conflicts dating from the 20th century. From the 20th century. And that's what's happening now across many of the world. That's what's happening now across many of the world. It's conflicts which, of course, are arising again from the 20th century. From the 20th century, they have restarted. In the 21st century, they have restarted. Middle East, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Hamas, and Russia, Ukraine, Russia. They were united in a geopolitical state known as the USSR, United Socialist Soviet Republics, for more than 70 years. The Cold War lasted almost 45 years, almost 45 years, from 1947 March till end of December 1991. It was a long period, the Cold War, more than 44 years, almost 45. That's a long time, the Cold War. Those conflicts, and potentially now again one on the horizon, as I've analyzed Xi Jinping's New Year's Eve discourse. Xi Jinping, the leader of China, chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, and the de facto leader of the PLA, People's Liberation Army. The PLA People's Liberation Army, founded and led to power by Mao Zedong, who founded the People's Republic of China, just here for the North American Democratic Republic, North American Union. Through North Strong and Free, we got to add a little bit of LOV to that, you know. So I'm laying the foundations first and foremost with trillions of kisses, you know, with trillions of kisses, some push-ups, some marching steps with it, and lots of rock and roll with it, and lots of lots of rock and roll with it, so that's what it is with that. So we need to get going with the North American Dragon Army, the public-private partnership, citizen integrate, and implement my protocols for the 911 integration of the citizen integration new 911 protocols. Integration cities new 911 protocols. Integration city new 911 protocols. New 911 protocols. Parallel to the 911 protocols, of course, the Dragon Army and the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, the North American Integrated Dance League for the environment, purpose, and civilizational purpose for the environment and civilization, the Dragon Army for security, service, and defense only coast to coast, ocean to ocean. And as much as I can pronounce myself, I know the ideologies, and if you want to have a discussion on China, you have to read and have a little bit of knowledge of what's inside what's known as the volumes known as the governance of China, also known as Xi Jinping's thought. Governance of China, also known as Xi Jinping's thought. Governance of China, also known as Xi Jinping's thought. Because as much as I can relate and know them, the ideology, the philosophies, the discourses, it states that I'm a North American. I'm a Quebecer, Canadian, North American. Personally, I do not consider myself a member of a diaspora. Personally, I do not consider myself a member of a diaspora. I could not personally consider myself a member of a diaspora. North America, Canada, Quebec. It's home. Montreal, Hawk Island is home for me. And I am for world peace, and world citizen, international citizen. But as much as I can pronounce myself, my interests, my protocols, my initiatives are for the North American collective. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, from this metropolis. Hawk Island metropolis has got 2.5 million people just on the island. It's like a small country, second most populated. So as much as I can say and dissect and analyze, and it doesn't really matter what position I take at the end of the day if you follow, because my interests, my initiatives are fundamentally public-private partnership based. And yes, now, today, we're open to inner North American domestic sabotage. North American domestic sabotage. To enter North American domestic sabotage. To enter North American domestic sabotage. We're open to it. Our infrastructure, our power grid, even our supply chains of the food. Even cultural, social, cultural, political. Social, cultural, political. I've written theories and theses and documents on that, but I cannot go into details too much because it's matters of national security and matters of sensitive to national security, as I did in the past 7 years in several communications and outright, of course, citizen outreach with CSIS, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, Canadian Security Intelligence Service, and RCMP, which I served in a past previous life at the beginning before the Mounties were known as the Mounties. But my liberty now as an individual liberty citizen and security goes hand in hand. But here the true north, strong and free. I understand perfectly peace to strength, the doctrine of peace to strength. I'm a pro-labor and love, neurodivergent, androgynous, pansexual, philosopher and geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. I want to be Telemite. So as much as I can relate to that, I understand it, especially the need for it now. It rests that we cannot base all of it on strength. There has to be some counterbalance, LOV, understanding, love, not just strength. I understand it, but that doesn't mean I fully support peace through strength. Yes, we gotta have peace at home too, so do some loving, man. Do some loving. Lust also, lust is good. Lust can be channeled. Sexual energy's gotta be channeled. My sexuality is weird, just like my high-functioning autism, my Asperger's, and with consent, hygiene, I'm open to, between adults, of course, between adults, 18 plus, you gotta be that 18 plus, with all sorts of sexuality, it has to be channeled. If I repress it, as I was meditating, I say, I'm androgynous, pansexual. I'm pansexual, meaning I'm open to sexual relations with black men, black women, white men, white women, and the rainbow, black and white and rainbow. Yeah, pansexual. consent and hygiene, come loving with the rainbow dragon, but adults. But I was meditating, I said, I don't know if I'll ever get married, but I was thinking, I said, I think my happy marriage will maybe be a cuckold marriage, My happy marriage will maybe be a cuckold marriage, My happy marriage will maybe be a cuckold marriage, Right? But to be a general of an army, say that we're gonna give orders for use of lethal force, to give orders to get a use of lethal force, give orders to get a lethal force. It'll be only for defense. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. General Rainbow Cuckold, General Rainbow Cuckold, General Rainbow Cuckold. I already marched more than the generals of the free world during COVID. Already marched more than the generals of the free world during COVID. Already marched more than the generals of the free world during COVID. There's very few of us that are, to fight in the cause of freedom, Freedom has to be ensured, Freedom has to be ensured. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon. Freedom is a new thing under the sun, Mr. Solomon, Freedom is gotta be ensured, That's dragging on me. Freedom gotta be ensured. Housing, food, and then the rest. A little bit of internet connection is getting wild on it online, I deal my own toxicity if I repress, Let's say I would repress, Then I would repress, certain things, certain things. Very few of us, freedom is a new thing. Yeah, we might have racism, but even subconsciously, I'd rather, my black brothers and sisters, I'd be doing a little bit of playing some sports together, and just like Tom Brady when he lost or when he won, or my Niners lost in the blackout ball, aka hardball ball. My Niners lost in the blackout ball, aka hardball ball. My Niners lost in the aka blackout ball, aka hardball ball. And at the end of the hard match where people could get injured on any given Sunday, get sacked 3 times, my 49er quarterback still hugged the linebacker and said, "Good game. You won only by 3 points," and they reconciled sportsmen like Canada, US, big brother, little brother, small sister, big sister, the North American family, Canada, United States. We have a common destiny. It's the North American coast-to-coast ocean ensuring freedom. And my brothers and sisters were billionaires. Billionaires, the workers also. Enable billions. Ain't no way. A billion is 1,000 million. 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 To my brothers and sisters who are incarcerated, who lost your liberty, for XYZ's whatever motives, it's something which liberty and freedom is new. Now I almost lost my left eye. But I still got the right one. Maybe gangster rappers trying to poke my eye. They don't want me to rap for my homosexuals. They don't want to rap. I'm going to rap for my homosexuals and rock and roll for them LGBTQ, no matter what. Because I'm XYZ. Not today. My eyes are good. But nonetheless, so it's XYZ. So that's how we're going to go doing with that. And we're going to go to the mountain, So I carpe diem it every day. Every day carpe diem, What does that mean? Is my surviving COVID, I had COVID, COVID was, of course, hard hitting, It's hard hitting for me, hard hitting. Gotta get on that hard hitting for me. And of course, getting hard hit. I thought I was gonna die. Man, in many ways I did die. It was COVID, and I had it in February, March 2020. So it's gonna be marking 5 years soon. February, March. So for me, it was like death, pestilence, and disease. I know it sounds like a death metal trash song, but that's how I felt, and I thought that was it. I said, these are my last days. I'm done. Just like before that, a few years ago, I was attacked by surprise in the Montreal Metro, and I felt I hit my head. hit my head, had a dislocated right arm. I went to the hospital, they replaced it, and put me on some medication. I was like in a coma medication, recovering in pain. And I thought that was it also. I said, oh, I'm done. But that was when I lived in jeunesse, in an underground moldy basement. And prior to those, I have blackouts of memory. My life prior to moving from there to where I live now, you know. It's like blackouts. The thing I remember is that I've been doing for more than 7 years what I'm doing now. Geopolitics, fitness, rock and roll, and geopolitics, rock and roll, and fitness as an artist, athlete, philosopher, and just working as an Ashby with a HFA and with retrograde amnesia, and I have blackouts of memory. The thing I remember, my memory kind of blackouts when, you know, there was I use the word Islamic State terror group. I don't use the word ISIS because that's goddess, ISIS is goddess. So I use Islamic State terror group because ISIS is goddess. So ISIS is goddess. I use Islamic State terror group. So my memory kind of blacks out from before they were starting to be in the news. At the end of 2014, at the end of 2014, 2015, end of 2014, beginning of 2015. So then I moved, but my life prior to that, I don't have a high school diploma and all that. You need some help, dear? No, okay. You're good? Okay, you're welcome. Just gonna make sure my fellow citizens is safe there because I'm in the public, you know. I'm in the public, so I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations. And my senior citizens, you build this, so I loved working with senior citizens in the CHSLD. I really loved working with senior citizens in CHSLDs. I really loved working with senior citizens in CHSLDs, with senior citizens in CHSLDs, you know. I really loved working with senior citizens, and now I'm in the public, you know, so I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which I do not have under the normal circumstances of life. I would have stayed home, I would have not got the same, so now I gotta, you know, watch out for my fellow senior citizens, because, you know, my fellow senior citizens build the highways, build the skyscrapers, the building, the hydroelectric dams, you know. You build it and continue to do today, so it's thanks to them a lot, you know, just having that electricity, thanks to the Hydro-Quebec workers. My electricity, making this video, which is my work for many years, you know. Plugged it in, when I go back I use electricity to eat, so electrification, it's a privilege of civilization. It's internet, radio, telecommunications, you know, so privilege of civilization. My field, domain, kingdom is geopolitics. I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst of this. I predicted what's happening now, and I live with my scars, trauma, and I just remember moving from a moldy place. I know I graduated high school. I have a high school diploma, so I did graduate high school. I have a high school diploma. So I graduated high school. The South Shore, Montreal. I know because I lived in Greenfield Park, because I have some documents I had. And the motto of Greenfield Park is Fortuna is favorite. Fortuna's favorite. It's John Wick's tattoo on the back is John Wick's tattoo on the back. John Wick's back tattoo is on his back. That's the motto of where I live. But I don't remember. I just have blackouts of memories, you know, just before that incident in my life. And I don't know, I just moved, was depressed, suicidal, sick, cross country, coast to coast, started working out, training, lost between 80 and 93 pounds. And I remember mostly like the 7, 8, 9 years, and who I am today, who I become during COVID, because I died again during COVID, February, March, and again it was like, I thought that was it, just as when I had my Cillian Pirate episode, when I had my Cillian Pirate episode, when I had my Cillian Pirate episode, just like when I had my Cillian Pirate episode, you know. That's when I had my Cillian Pirate episode, so that's what it is with that. And that's what it is, you know, so here I am, joyous, financially stressed, but so willing, you know, that's what I will to build, you know. If I survived, I'm not gonna credit my survival to God, but to the goddess this time, you know. I'm not gonna credit my survival to God. This time I'm gonna credit my survival to the goddess. You know, y'all say in your rap song, you know, God, and I'm gonna credit mine to my survival of my trauma and being surprised attacked and or whatever XYZ to the goddess, GODDSS, forgotten. That's what I will to build, the forgotten goddess temple. The forgotten goddess temple still dances with her brother the sun and bury me with Papa Crowley. A third of me up in New Jersey, bury me with Papa Crowley, bury me with Papa Crowley. A third of me up in New Jersey, a third of me up in Mount Royal, and a third of me a city of the pyramids. Pyramids still remain, you know. I was there in a past life, but I don't know how they were built. I was there in a past life, but I don't know how they were built. I was there in a past life, but I do not know how they were built. What I do know pretty much is the past years of my life and living with my scars, trauma, and on the table, trillions of kisses, marching steps with a rock and roll always for the farmers, the butchers, the construction workers. Hey, I'm gonna give us some LOV to those fast food workers, flipping some of those burgers. How's that cheeseburger, double cheese? I gotta watch my budget, but I would love to. I would actually love. I don't do no bad, but I would love a triple cheeseburger. Actually, I love, you know, just triple cheeseburger, some fries, and a soda. Not now, because I'm going to the mountain working out, but after my workout, I meant. You know, just taking 11 bites. 11 bites. Construction workers build the houses, Mr. XYZ, Mr. Mistress, whatever the is. Construction workers, North American Collective Workers Party. Let's build the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, North American People's Imperial Coliseum, and the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, GODDSS, the Crimson Scarlet House of the Dragon. And now I have to discuss the DRT because I'm on the subject and of building construction, as I discuss a little bit of my personal life. But more important is my work of the past, I would say 7 years, and starting from today, of the past 7 years, and started from today of the past 7 years, and started from today of the past 7 years, and started from today of the past 7 years, and started from today, you know. So that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. That's how we gotta get on that. Here we were on the West Mountain part, the Three Peak Mountain at the heart, exactly at the heart, but south, between the east and the west, right between the east and the west. Look how beautiful that is. The wind, how tiny I am, speck of dust. Limb dick, clit dick. The goddess song to Rainbow Dragon is, you're a limb dick, limb clit. I said, not a clit, I'm a clit dick clit little scar, but so that gives you some magic. Here's the rocket. Look how beautiful the trees are, 7 times my size. 7 times my size. So, nonetheless, 7 times my size, gotta get on the go. So, going to the mountain, my second home, and we're on Mount Royal. So, that's what it is with that, or that's what it is with the XYZ. So, we gotta get it on the LOV, you know. So, we gotta get it on the LOV, you know. Gotta get it on the LOV, you know. Gotta get it on the LOV, you know. So that's what we gotta be doing with that. You know. So it's something which we gotta meditate here. I gotta turn my head, you know. Cross my head. Remember that house? I remember that house. I could split it 50-50. My anonymous friend. That house. House there makes me think of fantastical stories of fantastical time, like a fantasy type of situation, you know, kind of inspires me to always, when I pass by it, I always got a little bit of a kind of a mystery type of, like mystery in the sense like a mystery novel, almost vampiresque, Transylvanian like, you know. Also Baroque, like, you know, also like German writers, the Grimm brothers. So I always have a little bit of like stories when I pass by it, you know. So now I'm gonna discuss very important topic, the DRT. The DRT is a super important topic. The DRT stands for D for debt, R for refusion, T for theory. So the debt refusion theory, my brothers and sisters, paradoxically comes out of the curse of Asperger's. The DRT, debt refusion theory, also includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union back more than 25 years ago in the 90s. The Germans, they destroyed their own central banks. The Italians, they destroyed their own central banks, and the French also. So my debt refusion theory contains in it monetary integration theory. So inside, integrated in my theory, is the debt refusion theory, is also integrated in the DRT, is the monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union, So in my DRT is integrated monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union back in the 90s. And the Germans, the Italians, they created a common central bank. They destroyed their own national currencies. The Italians, the Germans, the French, right? They destroyed their own currencies. They created a common currency known as the euro, and they created a common bank, central bank. There's a supranational institution. It's no longer, they no longer have, it's been decades, they no longer have, of course, the central banks. They no longer have the central banks, you know. They no longer have the central banks. They no longer have their central banks. They destroyed their own currencies. They destroyed their own central banks. Destroyed, annulled, and cancelled their own central banks. You know. They destroyed or canceled their own central banks. They destroyed or canceled their own central banks. You know. So that's what they did. They destroyed it. You know. So now they created a new currency. The euro, you know. So they created the euro. So they destroyed their own currency. They no longer have the central banks. They no longer have the central banks. Basically, they destroyed their currencies. They created new central banks, new banking institutions. The ECB, European Central Bank, the European Central Bank, is a new institution. Just like my propositions for North American collective institutions, the Dragonomy to be public-private partnership, and the DGA, the Dancing Goddess Army, hand in hand. How big? Private partnership based, public-private partnership based, that's what it is for that. And we need to get that DRT, and the DRT, debt refusion team, my brothers and sisters, is the only solution. The motive, I make that statement, I pronounce myself in such a manner due to the fact, again, that we pay today 46.5 billion interest. Only the interest we pay on the public debt is 46.5 billion. A billion has 9 zeros, is 1,000 million. 1,000 million, right? So that is the amount which we pay. 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 That is the amount which we pay, you know. A billion, 46,000 million, 46,000 million, 46,000 million, 46,000 million, 46,000 million, 46,000 million. Imagine. That is the amount we pay on the public debt. It went from 20.3 times 2, 20.3 times 2, 20.3 times 2. That's 40.6, 40.6, 40.6, 40.6, 40.6 million, 40.6 million. That is the amount. It would have been double. In 2020, 2021, we paid on the public debt of Canada, on the public debt of Canada, on the public debt of Canada, we paid 40.6. Correction. We paid 20.3 in 2020, 2021 fiscal year. Just the interest on the debt. Still a lot. 20.3 billion is 20,000 million. Now we pay 46.5. So in 3 years, of course, due to COVID, we had to implement policies and programs, install new programs due to the health emergency. As myself, I thought that was it when I had COVID. It's gonna be 5 years soon. Can't believe it's been so long. It's gonna be 5 years in February, mid-February to mid-March, between mid-February 2020 and mid-March 2020 I had it. Mid-February to mid-March 2020, that's when I had COVID. Between mid-February and mid-March. That's when I had COVID, between mid-February and mid-March. Between mid-February and mid-March. That's when I had COVID. Between 2020. At the beginning, before it was known as COVID in the news. So my survival in that. And sure, across the world, we had to implement programs, protocols to implement the protocols. But the public debt, paying the interest on the public debt, you realize it more than doubled, right? So 2020, 2021, it was 20.3 billion. 20.3 billion. 20.3 times 2 is 40.6. So it's more than double. 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 Because 20.3 times 2 would have been 40.6. Now it's 46 billion. 46 billion. That's 20.3 times 2. That's 40.6. You know, that's what it is. 40.6. 20.3 times 2, that's 40.6. That's what it is. So you would have been 20.3 times 2 would have been 40.6. 40.6. $40.6. That's the amount it would have been. 20.3 times 2, that would have been 40.6. So now it's 46.5. So do the math. If you do the mathematical calculation, you're going to see it. So 20.3 double, that's 40.6. So that's what it would have been, 46.5. 46.5. That's what it would have been, 46.5. If you do the mathematical calculations, that's what it would have been. 46.5. That's what it would have been. 46.5. That's what it would have been. $46.5. That's the amount, you know. That's the amount. 46.5. 20.3 times 2 is 40.6. You know, 40.6. That's the amount. 40.6. It's 46.5. 46.5. You know, that's the amount. 46.5. That's the amount of interest we pay on the public debt. To repeat it, just to get it again one more time. So in 2020, 2021, we paid 20.3 billion. A billion has 9 zeros. That's 20,000 million. That's the amount we paid on the public debt, on the public debt, on the public debt, on the public debt. 20.3 times 2, that's 40.6. 40.6, 46.5 billion today. So it's more than double, it's more than double, it's more than double. From 20.3 times 2 to 40.6. It would have been 40.6 double 20.3, which is the amount of billions that we paid only in interest back in 2020, 2021. This fiscal year, 2024, the amount went from 20.3 just in debt servicing. In other words, the interest paid on the public debt, it went from 20.3 billion to 46.5 billion. It went from 20.3, double would have been 40.6. It's more than double. It's 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. 20.3 times 2, that would have been 40.6. It's now 46.5, 46.5, 46.5, 46.5. That's the amount, that's the amount. 46.5, that's the amount, you know. That's the amount. So that's double, that's double. 40.6 is double. It's 46.5, which we pay now. So it's more than double, just paying the interest. Again, I said it a few times because to grasp it, to visualize it and write it down best. So there's no way out of this but my DRT theory or something very similar, There's no way out of this but my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, which includes monetary integration theory. It's a paradox because I had the curse of Asperger's, and my special interest, also known as obsessive interest, is geopolitics. And when you study the geopolitics and are an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist like myself, you know a little bit about public finance. You know a little bit about public finance. You know a little bit about public finance. So 46.5 billion is the amount we pay in interest today, this year, fiscal year. So you realize that we possibly, worst case scenario, we have a black swan event on the horizon. We have a black swan event on the horizon. We have a black swan event on the horizon, a public financial collapse. A collapse of the public finances of Canada. 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 It's a possibility. It's a possibility. The public finances of Canada. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. The public financial collapse of Canada. It could be tomorrow starting. It could be Monday. 2 weeks before Donald Trump gets in, a week before Donald Trump, right? Monday, 20th of January, early morning, before Donald Trump sworn in. Breaking news, public financial collapse of Canada. Not going to be able to pay the security forces, prisons, so all the public works, those, thank you, I love you, who pick up the garbage, public sanitation workers. Today's the compost, I took it out. Thank you to pick up the compost. I worked on the compost. It's 2018, 2019. A few months. End of 2018, beginning of 2019, I worked on the compost project. I'm glad to having served, and I made money because it was paid, and I did volunteering with many organizations and communities. I did volunteering with many communities and organizations. So I did volunteering with many communities, organizations, communities and organizations. And I love volunteering, and work on the compost. So now they're gonna come pick it up today in my neighborhood, NWO. They're gonna come pick it up with brains and muscle on those big machines, loaded up. Thank you, public workers in North America, public sanitation workers. We'll pick up the garbage collectors across North America. Gotta send some rock and roll love to the garbage collectors. Picking up the garbage, the collections, Picking up the garbage, the collection, Picking up the garbage now. So the DRT does our public services. So you do realize that what I'm saying is that due to that fact that there's public system, the public financial system, public financial system that we got. There's no other way around this. But my DRT theory, so there's no arguing with it. With the numbers, you cannot argue with that. Just gonna throw some trash. What did you say? What are you looking for?
Comment?
I don't understand.
Metro.
You want to go to the metro station? Sure.
Yeah.
The closest one?
Which
The
one?
subway, to get the subway? You have to go down straight, guys.
Okay.
The metro?
Thank you.
I didn't hear you because I have this on.
Okay.
So that's why, guys. Where are you guys from?
Algeria.
You don't want to go to the mountain to see the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If you go to the top of the mountain, you can see the whole Montreal. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
You should go. You should go try it out. Did
Nice
you guys
place.
go?
Yeah.
And how did you find it? It's super nice, eh?
Super nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So just go down, guys.
I will go there another day.
Welcome
It's
to
cold
Montreal.
today. It's cold.
Montreal.
It's-
Eat some poutine.
It's too cold.
It's too cold. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cold. So guys, go down, okay?
Yeah.
Just stay on the right side. Go like this. See my hand? Go straight,
The
straight,
right.
straight. And just go down. But don't turn to the right. Because you can go a bit on the left. I'll show you.
Okay.
Don't go to the left. Because if you take to the left, then you go to the side and you're gonna keep going, you don't find the metro.
Okay.
It's a bit confusing, so I'm gonna show you.
Try.
I'll show you. Yeah, because if you take the left, then you keep on going like that and you get lost and there's no metro. And there at the corner you can go right. It's confusing because it splits, you know?
Okay.
Parlez mieux français, vous?
Je parle français, oui.
Okay. Which one is best?
Français.
OK. Fait que, parce que si vous tournez, si vous voyez, ça tourne comme ça, la gauche. Puis là-bas, c'est la droite, vous voyez?
Ouais.
Fait qu'il ne faut pas que vous déviez vers la droite, parce que si vous allez vers la droite, le problème, c'est que vous allez dévier comme ça. Il y a un peu de confusion.
Il faut tout droit.
Non, pas tout droit ici. Pas là-bas. Juste ici. Vous voyez? Comme ça, je vais vous montrer. Vous voyez, c'est parce que j'ai dit tout droit, mais dans le fond, ça tourne ici. Vous voyez ici? C'est pas par ici. C'est ça. C'est ça la confusion. Vous voyez? Ouais. Ici, là. Je vous ai envoyé tout droit, mais c'est pas bon. Là, il faut attendre. Attendez, on pèse le piton ici. Comme ça. Puis on attend. Parce que là aussi, je vous ai dit tout droit. Là, vous voyez, c'est la confusion. Il y a une rue comme ça là-bas. Fait que là, ça tourne comme ça. Après ça, vous pouvez vous perdre. Parce que moi, je connais, c'est chez nous ici, tu sais. Fait que pour ça, quand j'ai dit tout droit dans ma tête, c'est quelqu'un qui vient de Montréal qui connaît. Mais vous êtes des touristes. Fait que il faut que je vous montre ça comme il faut. Puis si je viens où vous venez, montrez-moi aussi comme il faut. Fait que on va devoir attendre parce qu'ici, un peu. Fait que là, vous voyez, c'est écrit. Ça, c'est Côte-des-Neiges, puis l'autre, c'est Fairfield. Mais le problème, venez, je vais vous montrer, après ça, moi je retourne à la montagne. Fait que vous voyez qu'est-ce qui se passe ici? C'est qu'il y a une rue comme ça qui tourne, OK? Fait que là, le problème ici, là, c'est que cette rue-là, ça tourne comme ça. OK? Cette rue-là que vous voyez comme ça, OK? Fait que là, vous tournez à droite, comme ça, sur la rue, puis vous allez avoir le métro à 3 heures. OK? Je vous montre. Je vais aller avec vous, mais vous continuez tout droit. Vous tournez nulle part. Fait que, puis ça tourne comme en courbe. OK? Vous voyez ici?
Tournons tout droit.
Exactement, ici, au coin. Je vais vous montrer. Québécois canadien, vous aimez ça, le rock'n'roll?
Comment?
Le rock'n'roll? Le rock'n'roll. Le rock'n'roll. La musique rock'n'roll, vous aimez ça?
Rock.
Rock.
Yeah, rock.
Moi, je chante du rock.
Oh,
En français puis en anglais.
bien, en français.
En français aussi, vous aimez ça?
Je connais Nirvana. Nirvana. Guns Roses.
Guns N' Roses, j'aime ça.
Yeah, Guns Roses.
Et voilà, mon frère, ma soeur, regardez par là. OK? Là, il faut que vous continuez par ici, puis faites attention parce que ça descend en pente, OK?
Ouais.
Pour pas que vous glissez, là. C'est prof.
Ça glisse.
Ça glisse, fait que là, vous faites attention quand vous rentrez ici, OK? Parce que là, ça glisse, là. Fait que vous allez voir, c'est en pente, OK? Fait que là, vous allez comme ça par là. Ici, tout droit, puis c'est le métro à 3 heures. Vous allez par ici, puis c'est le métro à 3 heures. Fait que tout droit.
Tout droit.
Tout droit comme ça, mais tournez dans aucune rue. Mais c'est comme, ça tourne un peu comme
Avec
ça.
la grande rue, comme ça.
OK. Oui, ben vous tournez nulle part.
Nulle part, oui. J'ai compris.
Ça va comme ça, mais vous tournez ni à gauche ni à droite, jusqu'à quand vous voyez les gros buildings. Fait que ça tourne comme un
D'accord.
serpent.
Comment ça?
Je sais que c'est confus un peu, mais vous
Ouais,
allez
ouais,
voir
j'ai
comme ça.
compris, j'ai compris.
Puis vous allez voir Atwater. Okay?
Comme la flèche, comme la flèche.
Comme la flèche, exactement.
Ouais.
Bonne chance.
Merci beaucoup.
Ça fait
Merci.
plaisir, ça fait plaisir.
Merci.
Bon amusement, bienvenue à Montréal. Bye bye. I gotta show the tourists, you know. I gotta show the tourists a little bit, you know. I gotta show the tourists, you know. I gotta show the tourists a little bit of LOV, you know. A little bit of love there, you know, how they do it. And I show them a little bit how they go, you know, like that. And a little bit of that French, you know, because I like tourists. So tourists, they come, you know, and I love when I have tourism from here, but that's because I wanted to make an extra effort because, see, for me, I said straight, but because me, I know the place, you know. I know the place, so that's what it is with that. So that's for them to get to the metro, you know, to get to Atwater Metro. So that's my, because I could have went for Concordia Metro's that way, but that's closer, you know. So I don't know, Concordia Metro, other metro, and the other metro, you know. So that's what it is. And anyways, because I said straight, but in my head, you know, then I asked, they're tourists, so I wanted to give a little bit of tourist. Well, they'll probably find me weird with Asperger's and all that, with my HFA, but I said them to go like this, you know, because it's straight for me. That's why I wanted to show them exactly how they can go, you know, just because it's nice to have tourists coming over, and you know, they speak French and English, and have to be welcoming, you know, to be welcoming there and to welcome them, you know. Sometimes it's our cultural differences, but I don't like violence, and I don't like violence, you know. I'm hyper vigilant, you know. I'm hyper vigilant, you know. And that's just how I am because of my own trauma, but doing assessment sometimes, you know. I love the Montreal, and I always like to see when people come, you know, to Montreal to have a nice day, and I invited them to go to the mountain, and it's super important, you know, to get the information, because I wanted to make sure that they didn't turn, because then they would have went straight, they would have got lost, because that's confusing there, because how it's split 1, 2, 3, it's split in 3. So I said straight, but for me I said straight because I know it. So then I realized, just like my head and being neurodivergent, if they don't know that I have HFA, high functioning autism, Asperger's, that how I am, you know. So they asked for directions, I guess I was giving too many details, you know. The Asperger's, HFAs, we tend to go a little overboard in the linguistics, utilization of the linguistics, so I think they kind of noticed I was a bit weird, so I showed them, you know. I showed them there, so I hope they got doing on the right side, how they do it like this, so we gotta get it on the do, you know. So they're there, happy, and welcome to Montreal. So the DRT, the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, of the universal exchange unit, you know, the UE, the universal exchange. So the DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, you know, the creation of the UE. Universal exchange. I was back to the DRT, so again, is the only solution. Why do I make that? Is the only solution because now we pay 46.5 billion. That's how much we pay, you know, in interest. That's how much we pay in interest. That's how much we pay in interest, you know. That's how much we pay in interest, you know. That's how much we pay in interest, you know. So that's the amount we pay in interest, 46.5 billion, you know. 46. 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion in interest only. So it more than doubled. From 20.3, it doubled. From 20.3, it doubled. 20.3 times 2 is times 2 is 40.6. So now it's 46.5 billion in interest. So there's no other way but my DRT. Paradoxically, the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE. So my DRT, debt refusion theory, also includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory also includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly the theory which was implemented in the European Union. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange, monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory, monetary integration theory. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, that is the DRT, debt refusion theory, debt refusion theory. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, universal exchange, universal exchange, universal exchange. Universal exchange, universal exchange. So I'm going to explain it as simple as I can. That the Asperger's and a neurological divergent condition which makes me predisposed to certain characteristics, and one of those characteristics is utilizing too much sophisticated, academic, verbose, linguistic, scholarly, complex language, which is not necessary in certain conditions. So as I ascend the mountain, my second home here, Mount Royal, the mountain, my second home, and then I go back, then I go back. Here we are. So we're gonna go up. There we go, we're gonna go up. So the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE. The creation of the UE, the universal exchange. The universal exchange. So and keep in mind again that it includes monetary integration theory, 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 which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. The Germans, they destroyed their own central bank. The French, they destroyed their franc, the lira, and many countries destroyed. In the European Union, they destroyed, they're cancelled, they're annulled, they're all currencies. And who wants to finance? I go up and down these stairs 300 times, 300 times, up and down these stairs with Dragon versus Trump, special edition, Dragon versus Trump, special edition, Dragon versus Trump, special edition. Watch it, it's slippery. So the DRT, that is the only solution. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, all the public and private debt, including my debt, your debt, our debt. So my $10,000 to the RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, to the RBC, I got $10,000 to the Royal Bank of Canada. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, all the private and the private and the public debt, all the public and the private debt, and the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. We're going to refuse it all. We're going to refuse it all. We're going to refuse it all. Refuse it all. So we're gonna refuse all the public and the private debt, and we're gonna refuse it all. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, and we're gonna refuse it. We're gonna create all the public and the private debt, take it all coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the public and the private debt. My $10,000 to the RBC, your $10,000 to the RBC, all the public and the private debt, including my $10,000, my $10,000, your $10,000, all of the debt. We're gonna take it all, convert it to the US dollar, because the United States dollar still is the currency of choice for world trade, international business, global import, export, tourism. So we're gonna take all the debt, coast to coast of Canada, including my $10,000, convert all the public private debt of Canada into US dollars, add it with the US, well, Canada first, preferably binational, preferably binational. At the same time, like the NHL, PVHL, Professional Women's Hockey League. So take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt is all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, like that, all the public private debt, convert it to US dollars. All the debt, public and private debt, public and private debt, public and private debt, okay, convert it to US dollars. All that debt, who's gonna finance the initial money supply, the initial money supply, the initial money supply for a new central bank, for a new central bank, for a new central bank. So all the debt, public and private, converted to US dollars. It could be extended, not just Canada first, but Canada, US, preferably at the same time binational, with of course the Mexico's part of North America, Jamaica, Haiti. Give us a paradise, but nonetheless, other countries. So, Cuba, whatever the case may be, we gotta get it for the go, we gotta fit it for the go, we gotta get it for the XYZ, and we gotta get it for the doers, you know. So, here we gotta watch it, because now we're into their skiers, you know. They ski now, so we gotta watch a certain path. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, we're gonna take it together. We're gonna take it together. So all the public and the private debt, including my debt, $10,000, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, we're gonna take it all. We're gonna take all the debt, public and private debt. So all the debt, public and private debt, we're gonna convert it to US dollars. That money is gonna finance the initial money supply for a new central bank, whatever we call it. You can remember my DRT theory includes monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So my DRT theory, dental fusion theory, is the only solution. You know, so we're gonna take all the public and the private debt. So all that debt is gonna be converted into US dollars. It's gonna be converted into US dollars. That money, all the public and the private debt. Look at those skiers. Not skiers, but also there's not really, but there's some skiing far away there. But there's also skates. Go for the skates. Not a skating rink. So if you come, go skate there. You can take skates there. Take skates there. So the DRT includes monetary integration. All the debt, public and private debt, is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All the money. We're going to create a new currency based on the value of the US dollar, called the UE, U.Universal E.Exchange Unit. U.Universal E.Exchange U.Unit. The UE, U.Universal E.Exchange U.Unit. The UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. So all the public private debt converted to US dollars, because the money circulation will be the money circulation for this new central bank of North America. North American Central Bank. Just like the ECB, European Central Bank, the North American Central Bank, just like the ECB, the European Central Bank, the North American Central Bank, just like the ECB. So we're gonna create that currency. The UE. That's what I'm asking my astrologers, brother Scorpio Bill Gates of BlackRock, Blackstone. The two financial institutions which split, still work together on some issues. Split in 1989. This is BlackRock and Blackstone are two different financial institutions. Scorpio Larry Fink, and Joe Biden is still president. 18 days. Scorpio Joe Biden, takes Sagittarius, Leos, Pisces, all the astrological signs, and it takes my DRT, the debt refusion theory is the only solution. There's no way around they're paying 46.5 billion in interest. 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 There's no other way across now. There's no other way about what's happening now. There's no other way but by DRT theory, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the universal exchanger, for the creation of the universal exchanger. But the DRT debt refusion theory, DRT debt refusion theory includes monetary integration theory. Money integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union. It's exactly what was done in the European Union. It's exactly what was done in the European Union. And of course, they created a central bank. We're going to create our own central bank, implement the DRT, debt refusion theory, debt refusion theory for the creation of the universal exchange, the creation of the universal exchange, creation of the universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit. That's what we need. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to do. You know, the creation of the universal exchange. The creation of the universal exchange. With that money, we're gonna be able to rebuild the infrastructure of North America, rebuild the bridges, rebuild the infrastructure, build 44 tunnels, build 44 tunnels, construct and build 44. The number after 43 before 45 is 44. So we're gonna build the infrastructure. We're gonna build the infrastructure. We're gonna build the infrastructure of North America. We're gonna mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, and give some UEs, credits, some use for citizens who do my workout, the general word integrated all body training system, the general word integrated all body training system, the general word integrated all body training system, mass finance, building of the North American urban and the ghettos, mass finance the building of the North American ghettos, mass finance the building of the North American ghettos, mass finance the building of the North American ghettos, the inner cities of the North American ghettos, the North American ghettos, mass finance the building of the inner cities of the North American ghettos, So that's what we're gonna be doing, mass finance the building of the North American ghettos, the infrastructure and the infrastructure rebuilding, and of course that's the DRT. We're gonna build, construct tunnels and implement the protocols for the defense theories and analysis, and of course get that defense coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, get that defense coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're gonna get that defense, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. That's what we're gonna do on that defense, so play defense, coast to coast, ocean to ocean only. So the DRT, debt refusion for the creation of the UE, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we need to build like that. And the DRT for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange. That is the only solution. There's no other solution. Now where we are now we're paying 46.5 billion. Could have been another solution, but all solutions now have to equate, be parallel in consequence, similar to my DRT theory. It also includes which also includes for the creation of the human, the universal exchange. That's what it is. That's what we do as we go now all the way. We gotta be mindful. That's what it is. times, you know. So that's what it is with that. So we gotta upkeep it, you know. So keep it, not pollute, because we got rabbits. So that's what it is. And wow, I love being here. I just LOV coming here to the second mount, to my second home. So beautiful. I see people, I always feel that joy. And you know, I've been coming here for years and years and years. Sometimes I get flashes of reincarnations, flashes of reincarnations, you know. So that's what it is with that, you know. So that's what it is with that. And where there's a light, there's a shadow, you know. So here on the mountain, you know, it's my second home, and we gotta get it on the do, you know. So reminds me of past lives, a man, a woman, and born right here, and several incarnations on that, and here we go. The darkness, you know. Sometimes in the darkness, you know, I just get a little bit of that love, you know. First march to the mountain, 2nd of January, and it's still New Year's, second day of New Year. New Year's just beginning, you know. Survived and financially stressed, but the DRT, Natural Fusion Theory, for the creation of the UE, Natural Fusion Theory, for the creation of the UE, Natural Fusion Theory, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange in it. The universal exchange based on biometrics and public-private partnership. They call the public-private debt. Convert it to US dollars. That money is going to be the initial money supply. Create the universal exchange unit, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. Create the universal exchange unit, and of course create this new currency with a purpose to rebuild the infrastructure of the collective, and that's what we need to get doing with that, and that's what we need to get doing on the go for the workers, the butchers, the bakers, the North American Collective Workers Party, the North American Collective Workers Party built on the Canadian-US border, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Coliseum, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, and the Forgotten Goddess Temple, you know, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, you know, so that's what it is with that. So again, as I go deep in the forest, I do not recommend, you know, you go deep at night as I do, because I know the mountain, you know, so better recommend people stay here on the main road, you know. Of course, the branches fall, so you gotta be mindful for it on that, you know. So that's what it is there, you know, in the wilderness, you know. You go there, you're in the wild. With the bunnies, the hawks. Here we are, we made it to the top. Once again on the clock. You know, we gotta spend it on the clock. As you know, we going up and down, up in the rain, up and down, up in the pain. New Year's does die, New Year's on the fame, for the block and for the butchers, for the lovers, for the doers, for the XYZ, we gotta get it for the doers, and the thinkers, and the butchers, and the farmers, firefighters, we gotta get me some lovers, for those who gotta get it, spit it on the double trouble, you know, gotta see it up in red, you know, that's what I said, that's we gotta go, for the XYZ, we do, on the go up on the door up in the low, for construction workers, for the do, for the X and white and do, for the X and white and do, for the, you know, me and you know who, for the X and for the white, for the black and for the rainbow, you know that I said, let's go. We're gonna love me some rock and roll, we're gonna love me some of that rock and roll. For those truckers on the road, imagine just having clean electricity here. We gotta get going on the do. Here we are, we made it on the top. We made it on the top, you know, we gotta get it on the go, on the do, you know, so that's what we're gonna go doing with that, you know, we gotta get it on the thinkers, on the butchers, and gotta get it for the XYZ, you know. So that's all it is, man. You know, butchers, bakers, doctors, firefighters, LOV. That's my favorite skyscraper right there. Beautiful red, and green, and we gotta get it for the red. Love and green, we gotta get it for the lovers, the butchers. Imagine all the brains and muscle who take it on the go and who build all the construction workers, the truckers, firefighters. Let's go for some rock and roll at the top. Rock and roll at the top of the mountain. You know that I go sing it, swing those hips. You know that up and go up into this. You know that we go up in the kiss. Kiss in the front and a kiss in the crown, a kiss in the front and a kiss in the crown, kiss in the front and a kiss in the front, kiss in the front and a kiss in the crown. You know that I split a rainbow, you know that I is trouble. And you know, for the lovers, for the butchers, for the thing, for those firefighters, LOV, you know that I see. Firefighters, LOV, the butchers, the truckers, the nurses, garbage, the recycling. This is the greatest city on the planet. Let's go for the rock and roll, support the DRT, that refusion team. Then we're gonna switch it to that French, cause we in La Belle Province, ready for the rock and roll. In the trance up and let's go. Ready for the rock and roll. Now we're gonna enter that rock and roll trance, man. In 3, 2, 1. Ready for the rock and the roll. On the mountain, you know that I go. I split it for the firefighters and the butchers and the truckers with it. Nurses and those on the XYZ for the road. For the lovers, for the drinkers, for those butchers and the bakers. Hey, you know that we flying out the chopper. Hey, you know that we chopper on the doctor on the calling. Hey, let's build our coliseum for the love, for the dues. You know how we do. Rambo in the jungle. That's the secret jungle. That's a skyscraper that you know. You know, on the firefighters road, on the low. Kissing on the steel toes. On the rainbow dragon freestyle, that's the motor. Hey, on the mountain, that's the goer. And you know we spit it on. And you know that we go on the wind and on the winter. Rock and roll, that's in the splinter. Hey, you know that we go on in it. That's another side, that's just the metropolis. That's the metropolis. And you know that's the Belvedere. And we gonna go on the hydrate on the go. Gotta give me some hydration. Yeah. You know that I swing flirtation. Yeah. Gotta give me some drinking. Hey. You know that I keep on singing. Hey. On the kiss and on the low. Hey. In the dark and in the go. Yeah. You know that I split it forward. That French cause we in La Belle Province. Set the door. That's the car ready to roll. That's the smart ready to blow. That's the hectic. That's the rainbow dragon with it in the window. You know that I split the screen. And I gotta do sometimes flesh, sometimes machines, sometimes flesh, sometimes machines, sometimes flesh, sometimes machines. For the English, for the do, for the open doors up in the menu. I gotta swing it. On the green, the goddess, on the green, the goddess, on the green, to go retarded, cause I don't mind it. Yeah. Split it for the roller pin it. Gotta go replenish. That's the drink with it. You can take some and to go. You can take some of them to go. You can take some of them to go. On the go. Yeah, I gotta spit it on some more. Gotta give me some of that hydration. And you know, I just gotta get some water. So here we are at my second home, the Belvedere. My second home, Mount Royal, part of the Three Peaks mountain system at the Belvedere. And I always love to come here, you know. It's like my second home, and it's always joyous when I come to the top. And so now time I come, past lives, incarnations right here, you know. So here where we go, you know. So I gotta get a little bit of that, and I gotta get it now, and that's what we gotta do, you know. So just gonna hydrate, we'll let the water, so just meditate on the workers who built the aqueducts to connect all the way to the top here of the mountain, Mount Royal. Thank you to the workers who built it all that, you know. So it takes some of that brains and muscle, imagine all the work done underneath. The cables. Well, it's more steel, right? It's more aqueducts. There's metal, there's steel, there's all sorts of underground, to get atop to the mountain, the brains and the muscle to build, so we have running water. Imagine it's public works, part of public works, the engineering. It's also engineering, right? So to engineer, to have water here, it takes a lot of brains and muscle. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna fill the bottle. I'm just gonna fill the bottle. I'm just gonna finish hydrating. There you go, enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So here we go. So imagine all that work, to have it done there, engineered to get it on the go. So it's a lot of labor. I'm just gonna put this in the backpack and we're gonna rock and roll with it, So what I love to do here in the rock and roll where the green is, is an echo, kind of like an echo. It's kind of like a studio. I wish I could afford the studio, but can't afford it. But I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't spill in my backpack, because sometimes it spills in, and if it spills inside, then it's gonna freeze and all sorts of freeziness with it. So that's what I gotta be doing with that. So have water for the go, for the road, because midway when I go back, I'm gonna have to get that hydration in it. So let's make sure I get the backpack. It's not that heavy, but I guess it adds up to what I'm carrying, if you look at it. It's maybe 22 pounds. So there we go. Ready for some more rock and roll. Ready you go for some rock and roll. We go in deep. Deep for some rock and roll, creep. For those, we flip. Flip a switch. Flip a switch. Flip a switch and flip a lip. Flip a switch and flip a lips. That we go crazy on the tripper, crazy on the tripper, crazy on the flipper, crazy on the flipper, crazy on the flipper, crazy on the flipper, crazy on the blaze. That we gotta go for the low up in the low, for the XYZs, you see, for the love you show you be, for the show you kiss. Let me see that kiss. Kiss and hug and a pleaser, kiss and hug and a pleaser. That's the farmers and the butchers and those train conductors on the do. That's the mountain, that's the Mount Royal. That's where we are, we keep it on the hugs. Push-ups, let me see push-ups. Freestyle on the march, freestyle on the go. Freestyle for the lovers. Freestyle for the lovers. They gotta sing it on the switches. You ain't trying to trap, ain't got nothing to hide. In the mountain, on the wild. All the rock and roll and kisses. Hey, ain't got no money for good guitar. Gotta send some LOV. For the family under you. Go cyclists, go cyclists, go cyclists. We got cyclists in Quebec, Montreal, we do it. On the bike, even in the winter, that's the 12th of January. And we know up in the wild that you see. Me and you up the beat. For the French, we're gonna sing it soon, cause where we be in that belle province. Hey, let me see you shake those hips, Canada. That true north, strong and free. Add some loving and some lusting and some kissing. Farmers, butchers, maple syrup. That's production. We got satellites up in the sky. We don't launch, we can launch some more. 1963, for the even the score. Scientists up in the rock. Coast to coast, we truck. Coast to coast, we truck. On the luck and on the do. You see skyscrapers, that's the me and that's the you. You see skyscrapers, that's the me and that's the you. You see those lights? Hydro-Quebec, that's alright. You see those lights? Hydro-Quebec, that's alright. You see those lights? Hydro-Quebec, that's alright. And that's alright. In the wild. That I spit is silent. And sire, higher, dragon, rainbow, higher. Higher, that's the stars. Higher, that's the stars. That's another scar I lived in. That's the strong and freedom. Gotta be some loving. Ain't no all about the money. Wall Street, you already know. Zero, that's the shade. And the light up in the shade. A little lust. Ain't no shame. Black and white and rainbow singing for the minute. Let's go. Baking bread for the cooks. Hey, those fast food workers where the raise up in the roof, in the striker, in the do. finna striker, finna you. Finna striker, finna you. Finna striker, finna you. Finna striker, finna you. And another kiss. I'll go blue. I don't sing no blues, but I can do. For another try. And you know the rainbow rock and roll, that's out of sight. Out of spite. They don't bring the molasses, that's the right. They don't see I'm doing some molasses, that's the right. That's the mixed that's the pyramid. That's, you know, up in the pyramid, that's the bee. And my name is a bee, that's the pestilence. Let me remind me that Crowley. Ooh, pop, I'm Crowley. My name is let me that pestilence, please. My name is let me that pestilence, please. Gotta give it for the do. Gotta give it for the you. And you know, we sing it. Swing it and we swing it. For the blue and for the you. For another double trouble for the seas. That's the beast up in me. Lest you know the goddess, please. I don't drink too much that wine. We gotta sing me the wine. We gotta sing me the wine. Sing me another sight. On the mountain, that's the mountain. On the mountain, that's a right. We gonna go for that spite. We gonna go for that right. For the singing and the blues. For the singing and the you. For the love and for the doers. Shaking troops up in the doers. Doers thinkers, hey, take some of those. Hey, dancer, that the strippers. Give some discount to the truckers. I said, hey, my sister strippers. Give some discount to the truckers. Hey, my sister strippers. Give some discount to the truckers. I said, Rainbow, that's a hugger. Hug her and the kiss her, let's go for the guitar. I ain't got no money, gotta please her. And another squeeze, that's the red. My favorite color, that's what I said, baby. Scarlet don't come in the woods and they observe the wilderness. Well, the wilderness. What a wilderness. That's another step, another bless, another step, another bless. I got civilization, smartphone in my hands. With the wild, that's that 50-50. In the wild, that's that nature, she laughing. As the goddess say, the goddess, that's the harmony go retarded, cause I like it. When I see those shake, those booties and those hips and that pretty pussy, with that pretty car, with that pretty dick, you know that, sing it. For the please, rock and roll rap dismissed. General, give me some push-ups, yeah. On the please, for you know that been the lights up in the squeeze, for you know that been the lights up in the dismiss, dismiss a kiss and hug and hang and snake, we sing on the please up in the snow, up in the lights, you know the stars up in the clouds, up in the blows, and another pause, in the mountain that you hear it, for another melody that's a hit, for another melody that's a trip, for another melody that's a hit. On the mountain, you know that I say it quicker. Hop around the rain as the snow in the train. Gotta get it for the rocks. Gotta get it for the rock. Gotta get it for the rock. Gotta get it for another luck. Tick and tock. That's a train, that's the rainbow, that's the pain. Pain with the kisses with the goddess, that's the gray. Hey, give some charity millionaires, billionaires. Hey, cycle workers, strikers for the collective. That's the Canada through North Strong and Free, that coast to coast, where they at. That's where they at. That's another kiss, that's where they at. For another please, that's where they at. For another farm, that's where they at. For another farmers. Truckers, construction workers on the steel toes going up. They going up. For the tack, I gotta salute the chefs. Hey, gotta sing it for those flipping awesome burgers. What? In the fast food, North America, Quebec, that Canada, USA of 50 states. We have some more. North America, let's go. Let's that build that Coliseum. Hey, we gotta do better for the workers in all about Wall Street. Give some charity. Don't be so effing selfish, hey. Hey, let's try. Find us people on the streets. You know that I gotta be. For another thing and talk in the wilderness, you know we got. Yeah. And another sing, another song. That's the goddess here, right here. Wilderness, the pyramid. That's the mountain, Mount Royal. Montreal metropolis. I know somebody kissing. I know somebody hugging. Hey, I see that he gave $44 to the beggar. $44 to the beggar. $44 to a beggar. He was an angel, just the test. He was an angel, just the rest. Kissing me up in upset, kissing me up in the lust. Is the justice and that vengeance? I don't know, maybe the question yet. Yep. Hey. For the mark up in the snow, for the mark up in the go, for the mark up in the dough, for the mark up in the snow, for the mark up in the dough, for the mark up in the go, for the mark, me and you, let's go. On the mountain, that's my world, that's the snow. For the facts and for the quick, for the facts and for the liquor, for the cars going on that split, for the cars going on that lit, for the cars going on the bit, for the cars going on the bit, on the bits, frisbees going on the please, on the rockets, that's the rocket that you see up in the wilderness. Gotta build the body up, gotta build the body up, body, that's what's up. For the builders, for the trucker. You know that the building car houses, those are construction workers, steel toes know how. Meters, centimeters, those are feet. That's the same, that's the deal. Somebody cares, you know, they're loving. They just like to just pretend. I don't go up in the body, that's the rock and roll, I go retarded. On the mountain, with the scars up in the rainbow dragons. Gotta please it for the do. Gotta please it for the you. Gotta please it for another sue. On the mountain, for the LOV. For that French, you know we go. And do it for the rock and roll, you know we. Dragon Army, that's you gotta saw me. Pledge your allegiance, legions. Pledge your allegiance, legions. Pledge your allegiance, legions. Et en français, maintenant, on est sur la montagne. Déjà, je vous encourage de faire l'entraînement physique. Puis si vous faites de l'aventure, comme moi je fais sur le Mont-Royal, ici, c'est comme ma deuxième maison. Mais moi-même, je connais la montagne. Donc, il faut prendre ça en considération, bien sûr. Que c'est chez nous, ici, comme ma deuxième maison. Puis c'est des choses qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même. C'est des choses qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même ici. Dans ces aventures, que j'adore venir faire l'entraînement physique. Je commence avec la gratitude. La gratitude de mon loyer est payé, ma facture d'électricité est payée. On est le 2 janvier. J'ai payé mon loyer pour le 2 janvier. J'ai payé mon loyer. Mon loyer est payé. Mon loyer est payé pour le mois de janvier. C'est sûr que c'est le 2 janvier. Puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. J'ai du café, j'ai de la nourriture chez nous, une connexion Internet. Puis je commence mon travail. Parce que ça, c'est mon travail. Tu sais, mes vidéos de YouTuber, de YouTube. En tant qu'artiste, athlète, analyste études, ici en géopolitique, philosophe. Puis, tu sais, l'entraînement physique, c'est quelque chose que j'en fais au quotidien. Tu sais, c'est quelque chose que je fais au quotidien. Puis c'est mon intérêt spécial. La danse est mon sport préféré, la danse est l'entraînement préféré que je pourrais faire, la danse est l'entraînement préféré que je pourrais faire, la danse est l'entraînement préféré que je pourrais faire moi-même. Fait que c'est des choses comme ça que je dois faire, puis je dois vivre avec, puis j'adore venir ici. Comme ma deuxième maison, j'ai une paix, j'ai une harmonie, j'ai une ambiance ici en regardant la beauté des arbres, comment ils flattent dans le vent, tu sais, je me dis comment je suis petit vis-à-vis de ces arbres-là, comment je suis petit, puis tu sais, je suis tellement petit comparé à ces arbres-là, puis ces arbres-là, c'est la montagne, ma deuxième maison, là, Mont-Royal, c'est comme chez nous, puis j'adore venir ici me promener, puis faire la méditation, puis ben du rock'n'roll. Parce que vous savez, c'est ça mon travail. Tant plus que 7 ans en tant qu'autiste, avec l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, en tant que l'Asperger's, c'est mon intérêt obsessif, puis c'est ça que je fais depuis des années, tu sais. C'est l'entraînement physique, l'analyse, la théorie en géopolitique, l'entraînement physique, la théorie, l'analyse en géopolitique, l'entraînement physique, la théorie en géopolitique. C'est ça mon intérêt, bien sûr que je prétends pas être un athlète là, bon, mais quand même dans la danse, je pense que mon athlétisme dans la danse et vis-à-vis l'endurance dans mon entraînement physique, c'est bien sûr quelque chose que j'en fais bien sûr au quotidien, bien sûr. Et la géopolitique maintenant, c'est sûr que c'est vis-à-vis qu'est-ce qui nous touche le plus chez nous, en tant que Québécois, Canadiens, mais c'est Donald Trump qui s'en vient comme président, puis bien sûr, les 25% de tarifs sur tous les biens qui s'est prononcé à imposer dès le 20 janvier, ça s'en vient, hein? On est le 2 janvier, je commence mon travail aujourd'hui, la première marche danse de rock'n'roll de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, artiste, athlète, philosophe. avec Asperger, qui a l'autisme moindrement fonctionnel, puis qui est en arc-en-ciel, messieurs, madame, sur la montagne. Ah, ça fait du bien, je me sens bien, puis j'ai la gratitude, je suis joyeux, je suis content. Tu sais, dans ma vie, j'ai survécu beaucoup, j'ai souffert beaucoup, j'ai des cicatrices, j'ai perte de mémoire de l'enfance, puis ça, c'est comme des choses de même, mais je suis quand même quelqu'un avec la gratitude. Je vis juste un stress financier. Hein. Maintenant, je vis juste un stress financier. Mais à part ça, ça va bien dans ma vie. J'ai des initiatives, des philosophies que, en tant qu'artiste, athlète, philosophe et surtout analyste, théoricien ou théoricien-analyste en géopolitique qui a prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment. Je l'ai prévu en 2019, en octobre, en novembre. Là. J'ai prévu la situation qui se déroule en ce moment d'une manière générale, pas en chaque détail, mais d'une manière généralement parlant. J'ai prévu la situation actuelle. J'ai prévu la situation actuelle qui se déroule en ce moment. Et c'est ça, bien sûr, que j'ai prévu la situation d'une manière générale, qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale, soit une troisième guerre mondiale, vis-à-vis au point de fait que c'est ça que je fais au quotidien en tant que mes rituels, routine, en tant que quelqu'un qui a l'autisme moindrement fonctionnel, qui vit avec l'Asperger, je suis Aspi. Donc, on a des routines, puis c'est des intérêts, les gens y appellent obsessifs, mais parce que j'utilise pas le mot obsessif moi-même, c'est pas un intérêt obsessif vraiment, c'est plutôt un intérêt spécial, mais ça peut paraître comme des obsessions, mais pour nous, les Aspi, les Aspergers, on voit pas ça comme des obsessions dans le terme, c'est plus un sens négatif du terme obsession, mais c'est juste qu'on est super dedans, super concentré, super intense, super dedans quand on travaille, quand on étudie les sujets qui nous intéressent. Du point de vue obsessif, c'est du point de vue des gens qui ne sont pas Aspi, qui n'ont pas l'Asperger, qui n'ont pas l'autisme moindrement fonctionnel. Donc, c'est sûr que d'utiliser ces mots-là dans ce contexte-là, c'est ne pas avoir la même condition mentale, psychique mentale. C'est juste qu'on voit les choses d'une manière différente. C'est ça la neurodivergence. C'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est juste une condition de neurodivergence. Ça fait que je me préoccupe et je travaille avec intensité et concentration dans ces intérêts obsessifs. Mais c'est pas pour moi, c'est pas vraiment les intérêts obsessifs, c'est des intérêts spéciaux. Parce que dire, tu sais, c'est des intérêts spéciaux, parce que obsessif, c'est plutôt négatif. Mais nous, quand on est concentré, super intense, c'est parce que nos énergies mentales, psychiques, sont tellement dedans ces sujets-là que on est à l'aise. Je suis bien dedans. Quand j'analyse la géopolitique, je suis tout à fait dedans, 100%. Puis ça, pour certains neurotypiques, ça dit obsession, obsessif, mais c'est pas négatif. Parce que je suis bien dans ces choses-là. Quand je m'entraîne, je danse, je suis super bien. Je me sens super bien, je suis à l'aise. C'est ça que j'aime, c'est ça mon intérêt obsessif. La danse, la géopolitique, puis l'entraînement physique, la danse est mon sport préféré que je préfère. L'entraînement physique que je préfère, c'est la danse. Fait que c'est toute la même chose, la danse, l'entraînement physique. J'aime le hockey, mais puis avec ça, la trinité, le rock'n'roll. Tu sais, je peux rentrer dans des trans de rock'n'roll, puis je peux en chanter du rock'n'roll. Puis j'en crée des chansons au quotidien, comme je viens d'en créer au début, là, tantôt, en anglais, par exemple, mais je fais des créations de chansons rock'n'roll. Je vous en fais une maintenant. Je suis dans la forêt de la montagne. Québécoise, j'ai pas d'argent pour une guitare. 2025, ça commence. Ils sont sa patrouille. Il faut que je fasse attention parce que ça glisse. Ils sont sa patrouille, les chiens, ça me jappe. Je dis, woupa! Je pitche le feu car je suis le dragon en arc-en-ciel. Mes tantes, cousines, des provinces dans la région, c'est la Madeleine. Ta face dans la Beauce, la province. Et ça danse, ça mouille, ça gêne, ça rance. Ronge, danse, transe, ronge, danse, veille. Le vent d'en face. Pas de pourvoir. La trail d'Hydro-Québec. Faut bâtir d'autres centrales, je suis en train de jouer. On joue, regarde. C'est la poème poétique, c'est le rock'n'roll, ça avance. Ça recule, ben crédile, ça recule, ben recule. Ça recule, ben recule, hey! Ça danse, faites attention, les arbres, des branches, ça branche, ça tombe, ça planche, ça glisse, ça glisse. Hey, la bébête, les culottes, ça veut dire... La montagne du Québec, du Canada, côte à côte, bienvenue chez moi, sur la métropole, je suis dans la montagne, que vous me voyez, les lumières, dans la transe, je rentre dedans, dans le rock'n'roll, c'est bien ça, le rock'n'roll 24 sur 24 que j'en chante, vous dansez, en équilibre, ben ça mouille, équilibre, ben ça mouille, équilibre, ben ça mouille, bouge. Encore en haut, puis la droite descente, en descente de la pente, que ça soit la neige. Je vois un serpent, il est en arc-en-ciel. Le lapin, ça saute, saute, saute. Bouge des fesses, des mains, des pieds dans l'air. Les airs, coups d'éclairs, des nuages qui s'en viennent. Je l'ai juste arrêté un peu. Arrêter un peu parce que je viens de voir les arbres, comment c'est en train de bouger, là, puis ça... Je trouvais ça vraiment... mystique un peu. J'utilise le mot mystique. Mystique quand même, c'est... Vous voyez comment ça bouge, on dirait que c'est une harmonie de la nature, le vent. Je suis spirituel aussi, il y a des choses que je ne sais pas, mais je crois à la réincarnation. Vous savez que moi, quand j'étais réincarné, des fois j'étais né homme, des fois j'étais né femme, fait que il faut faire attention, tu sais, que ça bouge. Des fois j'étais né homme, des fois j'étais né femme, fait que faut que ça soit quelqu'un qui vient courir, fait que... Bien fait, faites bien, faites attention. C'est correct? Tu as besoin d'un coup de main, là? Ça va? Là. Faites attention, méchant, parce que ça glisse. Je connais la montagne, puis je les ai vus venir, ils ont la lumière, là, oui. Ils ont la lumière, mais... Soyez prudent si vous ne connaissez pas la montagne méchant, parce que je dois être un bon samaritain. Je dois être un bon samaritain. Je vis simple quand même, tu sais. C'est quand même une loi que... Ben, c'est plus culturel, non écrite, là, tu sais. C'est quand même... C'est quand même une loi quand même non écrite, c'est quand même une loi non écrite, c'est quand même une loi non écrite, c'est des choses qu'il faut qu'on fasse, hein, puis il faut que tu sais comme, il a pas tombé, mais il a glissé, puis il a tombé un peu, mais après ça, il essayait de se mettre debout, fait qu'il était en train de glisser, fait il y avait un peu de danger, la position qui était, j'ai fait une estimation, fait que son partenaire, il était déjà plus loin dans sa course, dans son jogging, mais c'est juste qu'ici, le terrain, il faut le connaître, puis je connais exactement par où ils se sont rendus, je connais la montagne, mais moi aussi, je glisse des fois, mais je la connais, fait que c'est pour ça quand je vois des gens ici, puis ils disent soit ils connaissent la montagne, mais j'avais mon œil, tu sais, puis c'est pour ça que j'ai demandé... Parce que c'est quand même la loi du bon samaritain, que c'est quelque chose que... tu sais, c'est quand même une chose que... Ça nous oblige en tant que citoyen. C'est encore valide, tu sais, c'est encore dans, je pense, dans la jurisprudence québécoise du Canada, dans la jurisprudence québécoise du Canada, dans la jurisprudence québécoise du Canada, dans la jurisprudence du Québec du Canada, c'est dans la jurisprudence du Québec du Canada, c'est dans la jurisprudence du Québec du Canada, c'est encore dans la jurisprudence du Québec du Canada, bien sûr, qu'il faut que j'intervienne, tu sais, si quelqu'un, un citoyen est en danger, c'est un citoyen qui est en danger. Puis, je vous recommande, ouais, vous êtes mieux de rester si vous ne connaissez pas la montagne là-bas ou que les gens sont là-bas comme ça, parce que si vous rentrez dans la forêt, comme moi, je sors de la forêt, il n'y a pas de lumière, tu sais. Par où je suis venu comme ça, mais c'est parce que je la connais, la montagne, c'est comme chez nous. Mais même moi, il faut que je fasse attention, mais c'est des choses qu'il faut que je vois moi-même, c'est ça. J'ai fait attention, ça glisse. Je fais ça joyeux, je suis mais vous êtes joyeux. Rentrez pas dans mon demandez-moi, j'ai fait parce que dans cette vie puis dans une autre, je la connais bien des hivers, j'ai passé dessus en camping, en sachant, faisant de la chasse, puis j'ai construit durant le temps passé bien des petites tentes, 44 au total, entre 1535 et 1904 et 1904. Quasiment 45. Pas juste là, ici, mais alentour, parce que la montagne est beau, hein, la montagne, c'est pas juste ça, là. Vous voyez juste une petite partie ici, le Mont-Royal, mais c'est alentour, là. C'est Mont-Royal Westmount, puis Mont-Royal Outremont, c'est à 3 sommets, la montagne, là. C'est une montagne, c'est un système de montagne, dans le fond, avec 3 sommets. Mais en tout cas, la gratitude, j'ai payé mon loyer, j'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, j'ai de l'argent pour m'acheter du café, fait que je vais du café de demain, peut-être je vais voir, je vais juste rentrer voir le prix du café quelque part, mais c'est pas bien pour y aller pour exactement, parce qu'il m'en reste du café que mon ami anonyme, si je fais 1 million, 1 milliard, je vais donner la moitié 50%, je vais donner la moitié 50%, je vais donner la moitié 50%, mais parce qu'il m'a donné des beaux cadeaux pour Noël puis pour le Nouvel An. Fait que je suis bien content là-dessus, tu sais. Je suis bien content. J'ai du café, j'ai de la nourriture, j'ai une connexion Internet, puis tu sais, je suis quelqu'un qui n'aime pas la violence. Je suis quelqu'un qui n'aime... J'aime pas la violence, j'aime pas la violence. J'ai vécu quand même du trauma dans ma vie. J'ai des cicatrices. J'ai été attaqué par surprise dans un couple d'années dans le métro. J'ai tombé, je me suis cogné la tête. Je suis tombé, j'avais le bras droit disloqué. Je pouvais pas l'utiliser. J'étais à l'hôpital. Ils l'ont replacé. Puis ils m'ont donné des médicaments. J'étais dans un coma chez nous, c'est les médicaments dans le coma chez nous pour la douleur, puis je m'en souviens pas de ma vie avant ça. C'est un blackout, l'amnésie rétrograde, l'amnésie comme j'ai des blackouts de mémoire, j'ai de la misère. Ma vie avant, après ça, je m'en suis avoir déménagé, mais j'ai de la misère, ma mémoire. Avant ça. J'ai de la misère, ma mémoire avant ça. C'est comme une misère. J'ai un diplôme d'études secondaires de la Rive-Sud qui date de plus que 20 ans. J'ai pas de certificat de naissance. J'ai un blackout, j'ai comme la mémoire. La mémoire qui est... En tout cas, le plus important, je m'en souviens, de 17 années, j'étais en dépression suicidaire, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. J'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. Puis j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte. en 2017 en août. J'étais allé à Vancouver, Colombie-Britannique, après ça. En 2017, après ça, j'étais de retour en 2017. En septembre, j'étais allé à Halifax, Colombie-Britannique. En Colombie-Britannique, à Halifax. Et bien sûr, c'était en 2017, ça fait plus que 7 ans. Cet événement, ça m'a fait fonder un esprit de corps solide avec le Canada. Ça a fait sortir ma dépression, ça a fait fonder un esprit de corps solide. Ça a fait fonder un esprit de corps solide avec les Québécois et Québécoises du Canada. Puis depuis ce temps-là, je considère comme ma famille. Puis des fois, ben, on est dysfonctionnel, mais vous êtes ma famille, je vous défendrai. Sur une invasion, je suis le premier à y aller vous combattre, mais implémenter le protocole Dracula, mais juste pour la défense. Puis je suis pour l'Union de l'Amérique du Nord dans un collectif, puis bien sûr, on continue à faire le grand compromis linguistique. Le grand compromis linguistique, comme tantôt je faisais, j'étais pas sûr, tu sais. Il y a des touristes qui sont venus, mais j'avais matière que j'avais ça, je parlais, j'étais concentré à parler, puis ils m'ont demandé quelque chose, après ça, j'étais pas sûr en anglais ou en français. On a discuté un peu en anglais, après ça, on était parti en français, puis parce qu'ils voulaient, tu sais, dans la vidéo au début, ils voulaient des directions. Fait qu'après ça, j'ai dit, ben là, attends, parce que moi, je connais, je leur ai dit d'aller tout droit dans ma tête, c'était comment j'y vais, mais après ça, je me suis rendu compte, mais c'est des touristes, il faut que j'aille plus loin pour faire un effort, là, pour leur montrer vraiment, là, comment y aller, parce qu'ils voulaient un métro, fait que, tu sais, on veut qu'ils soient accueillis, les touristes, là, puis qu'on leur montre toutes les choses qu'on a au Québec, puis la bienveillance, puis la joie de vivre, puis, tu sais, je veux dire qu'en tant que Québécois, il faut qu'on les accueille, puis on leur montre, puis on leur parle de la culture, puis ces choses-là qu'on a, l'Hydro-Québec, puis la belle province, les régions, la métropole. Je leur ai dit de venir voir la métropole sur la montagne, voir les gratte-ciels, le centre-ville. Et on dit une autre fois. Il faut faire un effort, en d'autres mots, qu'est-ce que j'essaie de dire, mais il faut qu'on fasse un effort nous-mêmes aussi, là. Parce que si on veut les gens qui fassent un effort en français, c'est exprès, mais il faut faire un effort aussi. Si on ne fait pas d'effort de notre part, on ne fait pas un effort, il faut qu'on fasse pour le français en tant qu'individu. En tant qu'individu, pour le français, il faut qu'on mette ça à table aussi. Il y a une manière, puis on doit mettre en note, puis encourager les gens. Encourager les gens à dire, ben on j'apprécie donc que vous avez fait un effort, là, de vous exprimer en français. Je sais que vous n'êtes pas bilingue parfaitement, mais vous avez quand même fait un effort de vous parler en français. Puis pour ça, ben merci. Puis la prochaine fois, apprenez un mot, apprenez une chanson de Céline, par la culture, en faisant ensemble le 3e film de Bon Cop, Bad Cop, en faisant ensemble le 3e film de Bon Cop, Bad Cop, en faisant le 3e film de Bon Cop, Bad Cop, et je voulais patiner, il y a du patinage, il y a du patinage, avec ces choses-là qu'il faut se prononcer, patinage, tu sais. C'est les travailleurs publics qui l'ont mis en place. Il faut qu'on leur remercie en premier, pour la sécurité alimentaire, mais c'est les fermiers. Les fermiers qu'il faut qu'on remercie en premier. Les viticulteurs, les camionneurs. Merci aux camionneurs, aux infirmières, au travail de l'Hydro-Québec, qu'on bâtisse d'autres centrales. Ce travail du passé, ça prend un peu de la vieille école. J'en ai aussi l'électricité dans mon téléphone intelligent pour faire ce travail, cette méditation, puis faire appel à la construction du palais le Colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain ou le Colisée impérial du peuple nord-américain sur la frontière canado-états-unienne. C'est quelque chose que je veux bâtir avec les travailleurs en construction, le Colisée du peuple nord-américain impérial, parce que je fais encore appel à Donald Trump pour me combattre dans un combat de boxe. J'ai les gants de boxe, ça fait depuis 2018. C'est là vraiment que je suis rentré dans la politique. Je venais juste de sortir de ma dépression. Puis je m'en souviens, Donald Trump, il a imposé des tarifs, 10% de tarifs sur l'aluminium et l'acier Québec du Canada, Canadien, Québécois, Québécois, Canadien. 10% maintenant. Il dit qu'il va imposer 25% des tarifs sur tous les biens, sur tout. TOUT, sur tous les biens, là. C'est quand même un quart. c'est un quart. 25%, c'est 25 cents sur chaque dollar. C'est énorme. C'est bien plus que 10, puis pas juste sur l'aluminium et l'acier, mais sur tous les biens. Fait que, tu sais, des fois, avec mon oncle Legault, je suis pas caqué, je suis pas un membre de la CAQ, mais quand même, il y a une sagesse, certain savoir, une certaine expérience, une certaine sagesse vis-à-vis ma géopolitique, parce que je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, puis dû à cause de ma neurodivergence, l'Asperger, c'est ça que je fais tous les jours. L'analyse, la révision, la théorie en géopolitique. Retourne dans le 20e siècle, les événements, la révision, la lecture, l'interprétation des nouvelles, des paroles des chefs d'État, des paroles des chefs d'État, les paroles, les dialogues, les ententes des pays, des nations, militaires, alliances militaires, les stratégies, les guerres, tout ce qui existe en géopolitique, c'est tout un univers, la géopolitique. En tant qu'analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, encore une fois, qui a prévu en 2019, et pour ça j'ai la preuve, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. J'ai prévu qu'il y aura une conflagration internationale en 2019, en octobre, en novembre. Vous voyez mes vidéos, j'ai même créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique, puis je me suis préparé quand même. L'entraînement physique, j'ai perdu bien du poids, j'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique. C'est possible même qu'il y ait la Troisième Guerre mondiale a commencé. J'ai prévu qu'il y aura une Troisième Guerre mondiale, soit une conflagration internationale. C'est sûr que je souhaite qu'on s'atteigne la paix, mais quand même, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. Ben, pour faire un résumé, parce que dû au fait qu'il y a bien des régions, des nations, des civilisations qui n'ont pas été capables de régler leurs problèmes du 20e siècle, il y aura un débordement dans le 21e siècle. Dans le 21e siècle, il y aura un débordement. Ils vont reprendre ces conflits-là du 20e siècle. Ils vont reprendre ces conflits-là du 20e siècle. Ils vont reprendre ces conflits-là du 20e siècle. Ils vont reprendre dans le 21e siècle. C'est ça qui arrive en Russie puis dans l'Ukraine. C'est les conflits du 20e siècle qui n'ont pas été capables de régler ces conflits. Ils ont repris un couple de décennies après, là. Tu sais? C'est ça qui arrive.